Welcome into the Inside the Dam podcast brought to you by Papa John's. Papa John's is proud to sponsor the Inside the Dam podcast. Hit them up on their website and search for any deals they may have going on. Search Papa John's in Minot. They can also be reached at 701-852-7272. That's 852-PAPA to place an order over the phone. Big thanks to Papa John's for sponsoring the podcast. I am here tonight with a record breaker for Minot State, Haley Solano. Hello, Haley. How are you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Pretty well.
Good.
Ready to go.
Heck yeah, love that.
So I also see here you are referred to as Flaca.
Correct.
Are you mostly Flaca or?
Yep, almost always Flaca.
So is that a middle name or where did that come from?
It's actually, so in Mexican culture, you get a nickname based off how you look. And so Flaca, believe it or not, means skinny girl in Spanish. So family always called me Flaca, and it just kind of stuck.
Okay, well, I'm referred to as Freddie. My name's Noah Fredrickson, but everybody called me Freddie, so that's kind of my other name too.
Freddie works.
It's kind of the same.
Hey, why not?
It's not the Mexican, or it's just Fredrickson, Freddie. So. Well, anyway, I see here you're a sports marketing grad assistant, and you're studying sports management. How is that going for you?
Right now it's a bit stressful, with track season and then 2 classes right now. I know 2 classes doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, and then working 3 jobs. So right now it's a bit stressful, but I do enjoy it. I'm having fun and learning a lot. So
it's good. It is the month of April too, and usually the month of April does not go over too well with college students.
Senioritis.
I can relate to that. I also see you're from Arizona.
Correct.
And you earned your bachelor's from Waldorf University.
Sure did.
And that's in Iowa, so it kind of seems like you just slowly made your way to North Dakota. How did you go from Arizona to Iowa to North Dakota?
So I went to Waldorf in Iowa because the track coach was just phenomenal. The team atmosphere, everything was perfect about Waldorf. So I ended up going there, and then the current SID here, Mike Stetson, worked at Waldorf. And so when I graduated Waldorf, he sent me a text message, hey, if you're planning to get your master's, I think you would be great with Sal, who used to be the marketing graduate assistant boss, but he's now the softball coach. He was like, I think you'd be great in this area. And I was like, okay, sure, sounds good. So I applied for it, and I also applied for the track and field graduate assistantship, just in case, and I ended up going with Sal. And I kind of came to Minot because of Mike Stetson, so shout out Mike.
So it's just always about the people you know.
Absolutely.
You make connections and then things happen.
Yeah.
So Waldorf, any chance you know a guy named Anthony Davis from your time at Waldorf?
I do. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's crazy you mentioned his name. We actually hosted him at my dorm apartment when he came for his visit, so he stayed at my place. So
yeah, because I played basketball with him at Lake Region State College at the JUCO before coming here. So I just saw Waldorf, and I knew that's where he went after Lake Region. So everybody knows Anthony Davis, so I just had to assume you knew him too.
Yeah, I love that.
So shout out Anthony Davis.
Amen.
So this is your last kind of hoorah in the sports world, would you say?
Yeah, actually last year I was like a volunteer coach, if you will, with this jump specifically, and they found out that I had my COVID year still, and they were like, you should do it, why not? And I'm like, okay, yeah, why not? So here we are.
Okay, that's cool. And then I see you are wearing a sling. Is that sports related, or is that a funny story?
It is sports related, actually, yesterday specifically. So kind of what you guys talked about when we started was the record breaking. So I was in the multis, so I did 7 events on Saturday and Sunday, and my 6th event was javelin. And I was like, my first 2 throws weren't my best, and I was like, you know what? This is my last time ever throwing. Let's just go all out. And I did. And right as I released the jab, I grabbed my elbow, and I looked at my coach. I said, ouch. And then right as they marked it, I looked at my coach, and I was like, that was the furthest I've ever thrown. Then we tried putting my jacket back on, and I couldn't extend my elbow. I couldn't, move it. So I was like, I have one more event. Let's tape it up, take some Tylenol, and let's run this 800. So I'm running with one arm. But, we killed it. We did good.
You went all out.
Exactly.
You
Why not?
ended with a bang. You had nothing else
exactly.
to give. So I mentioned that you're a record breaker, but first I would like to take a look. It says you finished 24th in the pentathlon at NSIC Indoor Championships.
Yeah.
And I did track and field in high school. I hated it, but I did it for a few years.
Yes.
But I have never heard of the pentathlon. So can you take me through what that is?
Absolutely. So have you heard of the decathlon or heptathlon, anything like that? Okay.
Nothing athlon.
Okay. So for indoor, women have the pentathlon, which is 5 events. And then the men have the heptathlon, which is 7. And then when we go outdoor, women have 7 and men have 10. So I had to do 5 events one day for conference. And it was an okay meet. I didn't have my best in all of my events, but I did have okay marks in some of my events, which placed me at a decent place.
How do they score that when it's 5 different events?
It's kind of tough to explain, but the first event is hurdles, and hurdles is one of the higher scoring ones, so you have to place well with the rest of the girls or men if wherever you're competing, and depending where you place will get you your points.
Okay.
And then it'll go high jump, which is the next highest scoring, and if you don't clear a bar, you get 0 points. But if you clear a bar, it's about 100, maybe 200 points. It's kind of hard to explain, but
I got it,
while you
though,
go through,
yeah.
Points.
So then moving on to the event that you broke a record, the heptathlon. So that's the 7 events, right?
Yes.
In outdoor.
Mm-hmm.
And what are those 7 events?
I started out with 100-meter hurdles, went to high jump, then shot put, then the 200-meter dash, and then I had, I'm blanking, long jump, javelin, 800-meter.
And then I would assume the record that you broke would have been just total points in that event.
Yep.
And you were also the first woman to compete in that for Minot State?
It sure was, NCAA era, so here we are.
That is, you really went out with a bang. You're not lying when you...
I'm telling you, why not?
You just went out. That's great. Would you say your time here, your 1 year at Minot State was more than you expected? Because it kind of seems like that. You were kind of just going to be a volunteer coach, and then you stepped into a COVID year.
Oh, yeah. Actually, like I said, wasn't even planning on, because at Waldorf, my senior year, clipped a hurdle, was in a boot and crutches, and I'm like, I'm done, I can't do this. And then did it, and I'm like, you know what? This was a lot of fun. I'm just going to do it for giggles and have fun. Why not? And here we are. We're doing a lot more than just giggling.
Boom. Got it. So it would be 4 years at Waldorf and 1 year here, right?
Technically 2 years, but 1 year athletically here.
Okay, yeah. So that's kind of almost rare these days to see a student athlete stay at one place until they graduate and become a grad assistant somewhere else, because you always see that transfer.
Right.
But it seems like more and more people are 1 year out of school and then they transfer.
Yep.
So it's kind of cool to see that you did full 4 years at Waldorf and then you came to Minot, and I just think that's cool.
Thank you.
What would you say overall, those 4 years at Waldorf, like what kept you there?
The people, like you said earlier.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis, yes. No, the people were great. Loved them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was happy to have you on the show. We learned a lot about you.
Thank you.
And glad to see you went off with a bang. And thanks for joining.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And we'll be right back on Inside the Dam podcast with our next guest in a couple minutes. Stay tuned. Welcome back for our second segment here on Inside the Dam podcast, brought to you by Papa John's. Papa John's is proud to sponsor the Inside the Dam podcast. Hit them up on their website and search for any deals that they may have going on. Search Papa John's in Minot. They can also be reached at 701-852-7272. That's 852-PAPA to place an order over the phone. Big thank you again to Papa John's for sponsoring this podcast. So I'm here with a special guest who seems to have quite the clutch gene in the game of softball, Paige Kellogg. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good now that I see a game-winning RBI double in a 1-0 victory over Bemidji State. Can you take me through that play?
So basically, I think we had a leadoff walk or single, something. I can't remember. It was kind of blurry now. But basically, I go up there. I think I had to have like 2 strikes or something. I'm like fouling off balls. And then she kind of throws me one low outside, and I just take it up the middle. Ends up getting in a gap, the right center gap, and then we had a pinch runner for one of our girls, and then super fast, so she gets all the way home there. So, and I get a stand-up double.
So was that a walk-off, or at what point in the game? Because, I mean, it's a 1-0 game, so it's the only score. When did it happen?
It wasn't, I want to say maybe 4th or 5th inning, so it wasn't like walk-off type thing, but yeah, it was the only run that game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And for softball, how many innings?
7.
It is 7?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I see, I just wanted to mention the clutch gene and then have the audience understand of why I said that, so wanted to get that out of the way. But I see you're a sophomore. You're from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And you've been at Minot State your whole collegiate career?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And this is second year, or did you redshirt?
Yeah, 2 years you've been here, yeah.
Okay. And Las Vegas to Minot. I always have to ask my southern-more guests how they ended up in Minot, North Dakota.
So basically, it kind of starts off with like any of the recruiting journeys. Like I know a lot of athletes can attest to that. Just kind of talking to schools from all over the place. End up at a tournament in Arizona, and then Nat Wagner, who was the coach at the time, comes up to me. We chat for a couple seconds, and then it was actually right after I broke my finger, so I wasn't even able to come back the next day. I get an email from him that night, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And then came on an official visit here, and I was like, this is the place for me. Like, it didn't take any other visits, didn't take any other talking after that. I was like, this is my place. So
Perfect. Glad to see you here. How is the season going so far? Record, where you guys stand at?
I think we just moved into 4th for overall NSIC standings, so that's kind of cool. We're mostly a mid-pack team, so seeing us come together, getting the clutch game wins, the double sweeps on the weekends, those are really nice games for us. Picking up the harder games, we end up beating the number 1 team both games one weekend. So that really kind of has been setting our standard of this year, beating the big teams, having competitive games, kind of stuff like that.
Do you know what your record is off the top of your head, or a guesstimate?
I want to say we're 15-7 for conference, something like that, something close.
And do you recall what you were last year in your first year?
I think overall we ended up being 30-24, but that was with all of our games, so I can't remember conference-wise.
But you would say you've improved since last
100%.
year?
I think we finished 7th.
Okay,
7th or
so
8th.
the program's on the rise.
Yeah.
Can you kind of take me through how the NSIC tournament works for softball?
Yeah. So I know last year at least when we went, it was in Rochester, Minnesota. We ended up playing on this big complex of 4 fields or so. They have you match up. It had to have been the 1 seed and the 8 seed play together, the 4 and 5 play together, and then it kind of goes from there. We ended up playing Bemidji our first game, and we went 11 innings and we won 6-5.
Wow.
So it was that was we had never won, as a program had never won a conference game before, so that was huge for us. We go on to play Duluth our second game that day, end up losing 2-0. So then we go into the next day, I believe, and then we lost to, who was it? Moorhead, I believe. So it was then we were out after that, but basically just keeps going on, and then I think Duluth ended up winning the whole thing. So it was kind of nice to lose to the winners, but yeah.
If you're going to lose to somebody, you might as well lose to the winner.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives me so only the top 8 teams make the conference tournament.
Yeah.
And out of how many teams are there in the conference?
I want to say 12 to 16, somewhere in that range. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Because it's kind of a difference, because every sport kind of has their own conference tournament and how it all plays out, and that's quite a lot of big-time losers that don't even make their conference tournament. So good to you guys. Hopefully you lock that spot up.
Thank you.
we talked about how the program is on the rise. How much did you play last year, and what has your improvement been to this year?
Last year, honestly, was probably the best I've ever played in my life. Me and Abby Kelly, the other second baseman, we ended up going 50-50 for most of the year, which was amazing. We, love her. We're the best competitors. We cheer each other on, biggest fans, everything like that. So competing with her for a spot, being neck and neck every week is, the best outcome we probably could have had. I think, I know last year I ended up getting nominated for, best, newcomer of the year. So that was kind of cool to be recognized for everything that I've the hard work I've been put in, and especially being a freshman, that was one of the biggest things for me. So yeah, I think even this year I've improved a whole lot. I haven't been playing earlier in the season I wasn't playing my best ball. But I think after a couple games, I think it was after UMary, I kind of was okay, now we got to kind of kick it in gear, and I think ever since then I've been.
So you got back to that level.
Yeah, I would.
I would say a season can be quite the grind, and there's a lot of people who can go through a stagnant patch like that and kind of just give in and give up for the season. So it's kind of rare these days to see someone stick through it and come back out on top. So good for you. I see. So 4 home runs in your career. Mm-hmm. Would that be right?
Yeah.
So comparing that to high school days, have you been a home run hitter or?
I would say, yeah. I would like to be on a rise with more home runs, but it's also, if I can get a base hit for my team, base hit is a base hit.
Yep.
Walk is a walk kind of thing. But yeah, the long ball's not always the best outcome sometimes, and, so, yeah, I would. Yeah.
So going back to high school, how did it work? First, let's start with, how big is Arborview High School? Is it a big high school?
Yeah, we're the second biggest in Vegas, so I think my graduating class was 800.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
So softball, did you play all 4 years of high school?
Yeah.
Did you play at the varsity level too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I should have assumed that since you're playing collegiate softball. So, and then on the defensive side of things, you play first and second.
Yep.
Is that same as high school, or did you have a change?
Yeah, it's mainly the same. In high school, I was mainly a second baseman, but for my travel ball career, I was a third, first, and second baseman. So kind of going back to roots too. So yeah, I'd say.
So season's wrapping up here. Is there any more regular season games, or is it conference tournament time?
I think we played Duluth and St. Cloud it's supposed to be this weekend. I don't know if we're moving games up or anything, but yeah, we're supposed to play Duluth and St. Cloud, and those are our last 2. So.
And are those top teams in the conference big games, or?
I think St. Cloud is rocking right around 7 or 8, and then Duluth is right below us. So it's games that we need to win or at least split to stay in our spots.
And you're expected to win, so
you
just got to go out there and play Beaver softball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know if you're confirmed to have a spot in the conference tournament yet, or these games are really, really important?
I think they're really important because I think if we lose all 4, we might be 7, 8, pushing the bottom. So it's we need to have at least 2 wins this weekend to just solidify that.
Just got to go out and handle business. Well, Paige, good luck to you guys. Go out there, make Beaver Nation proud. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back on Inside the Dam podcast with our last guest. Stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our final interview for Inside the Dam podcast. Today, I am joined by baseball player Brian Parry. Hello, how are you?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. So, just so far, how has the season been going on for you?
For me personally, I've had quite a bit of success. For the team, I don't feel like we've done what we were expected to do this year. We've struggled a little bit, but as of late, we've been coming together and putting together some good games. And I think we're going to have a run at a conference tournament here pretty soon, as long as we do what we're supposed to do. So.
Mm-hmm. And just because, like, since I was just talking about how I do, like, announce the names for you guys, so how does it feel to usually be on the top of that batting lineup, and is there, like, extra stress to that?
No, actually, I don't know. I think it's pretty fun hearing my name called out first. So the guys on the team, they have a laugh with it too. Whenever I get called first out, they boo me on the field. So, it's pretty fun. But I've been a leadoff batter pretty much my whole life. So it's pretty cool hearing my name called first out on an NCAA college team.
Yeah, and like, what is it for? I don't know much about baseball. Like, what's usually like I don't know. What's the checklist to be like a leading off batter? Like, what's usually a coach looking for?
Like, from my understanding, somebody that gets on base, somebody that sees a lot of pitches. Typically, they're faster. So, you hit a single, you can steal a base into a double, or, you hit a single, and then somebody like your 2-3 guys, usually your bigger hitters. So they'll put a ball in the gap, and then I score from first. So somebody that's fast, somebody that sees pitches, somebody that gets on base, I feel like that's pretty much what you need to be a leadoff guy.
Like standard. And when you are on base, what's like, are you like a stealing base kind of person? Like, what goes on for you when you're like actually doing the running?
Yeah, I feel like I steal a lot of bases. I feel like I could steal more bases than I do, but I know I'm capable of stealing bases. We have a game plan set in place that's pretty much, I get on and then I'll be bunted over, like a sacrifice bunt to second base, and then I'll be hit in from second base. And, we've had a lot of success doing that this season. We're typically on the board before other teams, so I feel like that's been the game plan that's been set in stone for the majority of the year.
Mm-hmm. And just so far, you were just talking about like the season, like it wasn't really starting off the way you usually wanted, or just overall hasn't been going on. Like, I guess you don't want to call anybody out and stuff like that, but just overall, what do you think are the little small components that kind of are like hurting the team more than helping?
I just feel like I don't feel like we came together much as a team. I feel like, one day our pitchers would show up and then our hitting wouldn't show up, or another day our hitters would show up and our pitchers would not show up. I just feel like we didn't put it all together to be successful early on in the year. Yeah,
and just like coming in as a team, like, is your overall team chemistry though pretty like well, like on and off the field?
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. We hang out majority of the weekends and whatnot. Even throughout the week, we'll be over at each other's apartments just hanging out and whatnot. So I feel like we're pretty close as a team. I'd say so.
Okay, so like when it comes to like, I'm trying to think about how to word this. So obviously team chemistry is there, but for some reason like the play is not there. Do you think like if there's a way to like move that over kind of to make the play work, or that's just like kind of different things that it's not gonna really help anyway?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I just kind of feel like it's just one of those things, like, some days we have it, some days we don't have it. I feel like as of late though, we've been having it, and even the games that we've lost, I feel like we've put together a solid game to be in a position to win, So I feel like how we've been playing now is what we need to continue to do and to be successful for the rest of the year.
And I just want to like touch base on that one game that I was at. I knew for sure how it was against UMary. You guys won like 18 to like 4 or 6.
Yeah,
I'm like, how was that game overall for you guys? Just I didn't even realize it was 18.
Yeah, beating UMary like that's always fun,
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a rivalry in North Dakota and whatnot. So, and they beat us in the fall pretty bad too. So, a game that didn't matter, they kind of pounded us in a little bit. So it felt good to get a little bit of revenge against that.
Yeah. Is anybody else on UMary like a smack talk or anything?
Everybody in the NSIC is smack talkers.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's all it is in the NSIC. That's all you expect.
And on outfield, you're on the left?
I play everywhere.
Oh, you're everywhere.
I played third base, shortstop, second base, right field. I played everywhere. I've even DH'd this season, which just means I don't play out in the field. I just hit.
Yeah, okay. So, like, what do you prefer? Like, if you were to choose, I'm the coach today, I'm going to play here.
Anywhere in the infield, I'm a lot more comfortable than in the outfield. They just tried me out in the outfield because I got some wheels, and they needed there was actually a left-handed pitcher on the mound, so they wanted to load the lineup with right-handed hitters. So they were just like, go do that, and then we'll have a right-handed hitter in second base, and yeah, it kind of worked out.
Yeah, have you ever tried pitching then or catch?
When I was a kid, I used to pitch, but not since high school. I messed around pitching in summer ball and whatnot, but nothing like competitively.
Yeah. And so I was just reading here. You're from California, Beaumont. Sorry, I'm California too. I know. Where is that at? I actually don't know.
So, like Riverside.
Okay, you're in
like,
SoCal.
Yeah, SoCal. It's like 20, 25, 30 minutes from Riverside.
Okay, so like, how did Minot find you, or you found Minot?
To be honest with you, I don't know. They kind of just reached out to me one day, and we started talking. And then I had a really successful freshman season at my junior college.
Okay.
And then my sophomore season, I had struggled a little bit with injuries and whatnot, so I didn't put together the season that I wanted to have. And Minot, they stayed like loyal to me, And Coach Wick, I've talked to Coach Wick for quite a while throughout my JUCO career. So I don't know. I kind of connected with him, so I felt like this was the best place to come.
Mm-hmm. Did you get to have like a visit on campus before you like committed?
I actually signed like to come here before I got my official visit.
Oh, wow. Same here. So I know exactly what people are like. Oh, you did? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing hopefully Minot wasn't too like awful when you got here. It's like
it was a lot. I was a little scared, like especially driving through like Wyoming and South Dakota. I was like, oh my goodness, what am I getting myself into? And then I pulled up to Minot. I saw like over that like bridge, it said the Magic City.
Oh,
there was
yeah.
skyscrapers all over and whatnot. So I was like, oh, this is a pretty cool place,
Yeah.
It's a lot better than what I was expecting. And then I met some of the guys on the team before school started.
Okay.
We connected pretty decently. Went out a couple times and whatnot. So, I was like, I could kick it here for a little bit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the people make it not like...
Yeah, absolutely.
The people here are nice, I agree. How about like your first snow experience then? How was that?
that was pretty surreal, to be honest with you. That was what I was most afraid of. I was told this winter wasn't very bad. Yeah. Which I felt this winter was awful. So
I know exactly what you said. I was like, how's next year going to be?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Especially like during bubble setup and whatnot. They said last year the tarps were frozen, so it took them all week to set it up. We got that thing set up in like 3 days. But it was an awful 3 days, I felt like. So, I'm crossing my fingers that next winter isn't bad either.
Yeah, I'm hoping it just gets like even warmer. Yeah. I'm hoping that too as a Californian. Are you going home for the summer?
That's kind of up in the air right now.
Okay.
I have some opportunities to play summer ball in a couple different areas, Georgia, up in Canada, Washington area, in California. So wherever summer ball takes me is where I'm gonna end up for a little bit of the summer, and then I'll eventually go back home.
Oh, okay. And then you are a junior right now, so your last season after that, what are your plans hopefully after?
I kind of started a business, or my parents really, they did this Christmas lights business.
Oh, okay.
I felt like it was a pretty cool way to make some money, and my dad, he's got 16 different businesses that he takes care of. So
Dang.
Maybe with a degree I could slip into something that he's doing and take over a little bit. But all that's kind of up in the air
Very
right
up
now.
in the air, yeah. And
kind of like an entrepreneur type of mindset.
I could not be. I'm not focused enough for that. But what is your major here at Minot State?
I'm a business management major.
Ah, okay. So perfect. How's the classes for that?
Honestly, they're not too bad. It's a lot of busy work. So we got like case studies and whatnot for legal environment and whatnot. So it's a lot of research, a lot of busy work, but it's nothing too bad.
Any of the other baseball guys also in that major with you?
Our team is mainly business majors, or like in like the physical education type of major. Okay, so you're like you do see them. Yeah, I all the time. I see my teammates more than I've seen my family when I'm back home. Yeah. We got 18-hour bus rides to Colorado and whatnot, so we get pretty close on the bus. And are you rooming with anybody too? Yeah, actually, I'm rooming with my buddy from Beaumont. So we grew up together. We came up here together, and now we're rooming together. Oh my God, that's actually really cool. But wait, does he play? Yeah. He's a catcher. Oh, okay. Is it? Wait, I know the names of the team. I should know this. Oh, I can't remember his. No. Never mind. I won't guess. What's his name? His name's Martin Sanchez. No, I could have guessed that. Yeah. Martin. Okay. I was trying to think of the catcher. I was like, I see his name all the time. But how is it like? So
But you haven't lived with him before, so how's it rooming with him?
I mean, I didn't live with him, but I basically lived with him. We also went to JUCO together, so he had an apartment at JUCO. I lived at home at JUCO, but I stayed with him a lot of the time because it was an hour commute from home to my JUCO. So, 4 a.m. weights, or I'm sorry, 5 a.m. weights. I didn't want to wake up or leave at 4 a.m. to get to weights, so I just spent the night at his place. So, I mean, I kind of had an idea of what I was getting myself into when I moved in with him.
Who's the cleaner one?
Oh, definitely me.
Oh.
Absolutely me. That place is pristine because of me.
Oh, he just maybe he's better off like not cleaning sometimes.
Yeah, no, he stays in his room. Whatever happens in his room happens.
Yeah. Just overall, like since you're like a junior coming in, how do you feel about like the freshmen that came in? Even though you're also a transfer, but it's still different.
Honestly, I like all of our guys. I don't have any issues with any of our guys. We're all like ball busters. We all make fun of each other and whatnot, joke around. It's a pretty fun group of guys to be around from top to bottom. The seniors, they were very welcoming when I got here. I'm assuming they were the same way when the freshmen got here. It's all really competitive too.
That's good.
Our freshmen, they can play some ball, so. Being a junior and a transfer, I had to kind of assert myself and compete for a starting spot. So it was a lot of fun coming here.
Yeah. And just like looking at these next games you have so far and hopefully making the conference tournament too, what do you think? Has there been any like shift in focus of like, I don't know, like what is the team going to like focus on for these next games and stuff like that?
I feel like as of right now, we're pretty dialed in.
Okay.
We know it's going to be a tall hill that we got to climb, but we also know that we're more than capable of doing it. So there's no doubt in our dugout or within our team, no doubt within our coaches. It's all we're going to give it our best shot and see what happens. So I'm excited for this next couple of games. We got tough games coming up against St. Cloud or Northern and St. Cloud.
Okay.
We know St. Cloud's usually a top team, so we know we still got some tough games to get through, but. We're more than capable of doing it. We're not really too stressed out about it. We're just going to go out there and compete.
Yeah, and how many seniors do you have on your team? Is it a lot?
There's a lot. I don't even know how many seniors.
Oh, wow. So like thinking into like next year, then is it going to be like a completely different starting lineup?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of our seniors are pitching, so
okay.
we're gonna be losing a couple of key bats, a couple of key pitchers. So, our coaches are doing a great job of recruiting guys, and we've already met some of our recruits and whatnot. So we kind of know, or we have an idea of what's coming when our team is leaving. So it should be pretty good. We got a little well-oiled machine over there with our coaching staff and our recruiting processes and whatnot.
Yeah. How many people are in your coaching staff? Total, like.
We got 5. We got Wick, Boise, Loeb, Stardy, and Danny. Yeah, 5. We got 5.
Okay. Who's your favorite?
I'm most close with Wick.
Okay.
Me and Wick.
Since recruiting.
Yeah, recruiting. I've talked to him a lot. He's also our infield coach, so
okay.
I could text Wick at any given moment and he'd be there. So I feel like Wick's probably who I'm most close with.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. Just to know, like, you got the kind of like the team has your back and the coaching staff has your back and stuff like that. So you have 2 doubleheaders this weekend?
We got one on Wednesday, and then we have a doubleheader. I believe it's a doubleheader. It might be a 3-game series this weekend. I'm not 100% sure. But I know we have a doubleheader on Wednesday.
How does it feel playing like doubleheaders between a single game and then a 3-game series?
Oh, it's hard, especially with the midweeks. Like, it's, I know baseball, you don't run around and whatnot, but it's a lot on your body. And so playing these midweeks and then having to go to weights and practices throughout the week, and then the bus rides are, you play a sport, you know how the bus rides are, so they're pretty brutal.
Do you guys have to like partner up too on those buses?
Yeah, we have a lot of guys on our team. So we have our seniors get the back of the bus, they get their own seats, and then everybody else is kind of first come, first serves,
So next year you'll have your
I'm taking Primo's seat when I get
There's already dibs?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. And, what was I just going to ask right now? For the, now I know, sorry. When it comes to people saying baseball is boring, like, what do you usually say to that?
Yeah, they just don't understand. Like, why I love baseball is because it's kind of shaped me into who I am, So being in baseball, you're a good baseball player going 3 for 10. So 30% of the time, you're a great baseball player. So it teaches you how to fail. It teaches you, how to pick yourself back up. It's a very tough mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like, if you're not strong mentally, then you're not going to be a very successful baseball player. And I feel like you could take that into life.
Yeah, that's actually a good. It's just like when you're at those baseball games, especially when like the weather is not nice, and all you hear is like complaining. I've complained a little too, but I enjoy baseball, so like it's not that bad. But then you have those people who are just like, they're just there to support, and they're like, I don't understand baseball.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering like what goes on for a baseball player. Like, what do they think about?
I don't really focus on anybody in the stands. Like
That's good.
Yeah, my pops, he always told me focus between the white lines, the foul lines. So whatever goes on in the stands, whoever's screaming, hollering, whatever, that's all just noise. I'm focused on what's going on.
Okay, perfect. I think I'm gonna ask like a little fun question here. Let's see, favorite place to go in Minot?
For food?
Food, for fun, and for let's think of one for a drink.
All right. So for food, I rip Qdoba every single day almost. But my favorite place is Casa Jalisco. It's over.
I love. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh, yes. Sorry, I love that place.
No, absolutely. That's by far and away is my favorite. Iron Horse Cafe is pretty much up there too. They got a mac and cheeseburger. I get the mac and cheeseburger with the steak tacos, so that's pretty good. Favorite place to hang out, probably Beaver Suites.
Okay.
There's a lot of the guys are there. And favorite place for a drink, probably the O.
Okay. We got. I mean, we're all 21 here now.
Yeah,
Everyone
probably the O. I've spent a lot of time over at the O.
Okay, a lot of the guys hang out there. Y'all.
Yeah, I'm pretty close with a lot of the hockey guys too. So
okay.
I hang out at the O with them mainly. Nice.
Well, I just wanted to get a little bit to know, just so the people know the places to go now. Casa Jalisco, I love that place.
Yeah.
So that's the number one. That was Brian Parry, Jr., everywhere fielder for our men's baseball team. Good luck on Wednesday and this weekend, and make sure to catch the MSU Beavers.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we're going to have, I forgot to remind you, Siri, let's take one more break. I'm going to wrap up the whole series, so just a heads up. Yep.
That was our final interview. So Brian is the lucky guy, the best one out here. Saved the best for last. So we'll be right back with Cole's little end of the show message.
And a hearty welcome back to all of you guys listening or watching on the Inside the Dam podcast YouTube live stream. Hello, I'm Cole Clementich, back on the host chair to put a cap on the whole series that was the Inside the Dam for Season 2. So we just want to first and foremost, thank all of you guys for watching, listening, friends, family, fans of Minot State Beaver Athletics. We appreciate all of you guys for your tremendous support. And of course, we also want to give a big shout out to Papa John's real quickly here. Papa John's, the proud sponsor of the Inside the Dam podcast. Hit them up on their website. Search for deals that they have going on. They're most certain to have something available, especially for us hungry college students. Again, search Papa John's in Minot. They can also be reached via their phone number, 701-852-7272. That is 852-PAPA. And that is how you can place an order over the phone. We want to thank Admir and Papa John's for their support and patronage with the Inside the Dam podcast. But yeah, pretty much that's just all. Wanted to let you guys know that this was the final episode of Season 2, and also want to make note of some important bulletin board material, some details that you want to keep in mind for next semester before we wrap up the show and Season 2, of course. We will not be having one next week. The MSU Beaver Bespies are happening next Monday. I'm not aware of a time, but it will be taking place inside the MSU Dome. So due to the MSU Athletics sponsored event with MSU Beaver Bespies, soon to be a great show happening there. There will be no Inside the Dam podcast happening next week, the 29th. And because finals week is the week after, we'll let the athletes be able to attend to their studies and get ready as the home stretch is here. And all the rigorous finals. It's going to be pumping here pretty soon. So, yeah, I want to give the athletes their time, of course, to study up and be well ready and prepped to go for their assignments. So, that being said, again, final episode of Season 2. Again, I want to thank you guys, as always, for watching, tuning in, and listening to your favorite Beaver athletes. Again, this is a great series, a great partnership between Minot State University Athletics and KMSU TV and Radio. Again, I want to thank Brian, Paige, Flaca, and all guests all throughout this season, and of course last season as well. I want to give them a big shout out as well. Excuse me. And a couple things before we send it off here. So with Inside the Dam, if you guys, some of you, most of you, maybe not, but some of you, if you are familiar, Inside the Dam Sports Television, that is returning this fall, 2024. It's going to be a bi-weekly sports TV show for Minot State Athletics. It's another partnership, again, with Minot State University Athletics and KMSU TV and Radio. There's going to be all kinds of student, athlete, and coach interviews, a lot of Minot State anchor reports, regional sports as well. So there's going to be a little mix of high school, Minot Minotauros, let's say UND Fighting Hawks, and ESU Bison. There will be some other regional sports mixed in there as well. And then there will be live reports, so people are going to be doing stand-up shots and just reporting on whatever their heart desires and growing their skills in this great field that we find ourselves in, which is indeed a great one, as I previously reiterated. But yes, that'll be coming in this fall 2024. Inside the Dam Sports Television, KMSU will be heading that up in the brand new TV studios inside Hartnett Hall. I forgot to include that one tiny little detail there, but Hartnett Hall, in fact, more on that in a second, as this studio will also be having, this is the last show inside this studio until everything all changes over the summer, but over in Hartnett, be sure to catch them every other Wednesday. Don't know exactly when the first show will be happening. They'll take a couple weeks, maybe up to about a month and a half maybe to get prepped and ready. But then their first show will be happening, well on around midway through the semester. So they'll get that going, and then every other Monday they'll go live. I want to say 2:30. I think the class starts at 2 o'clock, but 2:30 is when I think it starts, and then it'll be a half-hour show, and of course you'll be able to catch all your favorite Beaver athletes, coaches, administrators. Who knows? Maybe I might even be caught for an interview too, or there might even be some esports content. There's a lot of it a couple years ago when Dr. Valentine made a couple appearances. So yeah, this is just one of those things where to keep an eye out. So things might be a little different next semester, as there will be like a flip-flopping of Inside the Dam Sports TV, and Inside the Dam podcast might be going bi-weekly as well. We don't know the full extent of those details yet. I actually still kind of have to have a meeting on that, but yeah, it's going to be an exciting time. Inside the Dam Sports TV back on Midcoast Channel 19 and KMSU, and showcasing more student athletes in and everywhere around campus, and coaches, of course. But yeah, that should be all fun happening next semester. And of course, you guys have seen, moving on to our next subject here, you have seen some clips here and there throughout the broadcast, well, maybe rather once, but this weekend will be the final home games of the 2023-24 Minot State sports season. Beaver baseball hosting St. Cloud State. Of course, you heard the conversation with Brian Parry and Siriana Godinho. April 27th and April 28th, I believe it'll be a doubleheader the 27th, and then just a single game on the 28th. So 1:30 p.m. and noon, all taking place at Corbett Field. Minot State and St. Cloud State hoping to finish the regular season strong. Beavers on the road, of course, kind of a long-winded list. NSIC women's golf, good luck to them at the NSIC tournament later this week, April 26th through the 28th. I forgot to check the times of those dates, so I just left TBD on there at this rate. And you heard Brian mention earlier a midweek matchup with Northern State, April 24th, 1:30 p.m. Softball, 1 p.m. doubleheader against Duluth. This is, of course, on the road, as you can see on the screen. Softball at Duluth, April 27th, 1 p.m. And then noon start time. That actually just got announced against St. Cloud State Beaver softball. Looking, of course, to finish on their end of the half strong as well. And then track and field at Moorhead and Drake to continue on in their season, hoping we get a few national qualifiers. So again, you saw Flaca Solano earlier. Great for athletics, not only in the competition side of things, but also the sports marketing side as a grad assistant. Very fortunate to be working alongside of her on most days. So yeah, and of course, shout out to her, Paige and Brian, for joining us today. And I think that's all she wrote. That is it for the Inside the Dam podcast. Once more, this has been season 2 of the series where we bring you guys great stories about the student athletes and some coaches once in a while. We don't think we had a coach this season, but great to bring on these stories and to learn more about these wonderful student athletes that come to us from Minot State Athletics. But of course, they also have their homes, their respective hometowns from all around the country and the world, of course. So I want to thank them. And for one last time this season, Papa John's, we thank them for being the premier sponsor of the Inside the Dam podcast. Check them out on their website. And, they could have some pretty cool deals. Because, again, us college students, can get pretty hungry once in a while. So, again, search Papa John's in Minot on their website. They can also be reached. If you call them through the phone lines, the number is 701-852-7272. That's 852-PAPA for the acronym. That is how you can place an order over the phone. Thanks again to Admir and Papa John's for their gracious support of the Inside the Dam podcast. One last time here, folks, I'm Cole Clementich signing off on behalf of Noah Fredrickson, Siriana Godinho, and all of the Minot State Com 328 play-by-play communication students who have stepped in and done a fantastic job this semester. We thank them. On behalf of them, I'm Cole Clementich signing off. We'll see you guys next fall, and have a good rest of your night. As always, roll Beavs.